Good morning again to our Women of Excellence. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. And I'm here just to share with you a little more. And we're looking at Hannah and Peninnah. Well, we started with Hannah last week, and yesterday we looked at Peninnah. And today I just want to continue on that trend, on that line. And I really want to talk a little about envy and jealousy. And as I said before, I really love the way Hannah dealt with Peninnah. She dealt with the fact that she could not conceive, and Peninnah, her rivalry, was having children and sons and daughters. And there is nowhere in the scriptures we saw where Hannah had a confrontation. The scripture did say that Peninnah provoked her sore to make her fret, but nowhere we see where Hannah went and cussed her out or did anything to spite her or to be vengeful. And we really want to look at that as women of God, as women of excellence, because we're striving for excellence. We're striving to grow in God. And one of the things I would really love, not just for myself, but for us as women, that we don't just go to church, we don't just proclaim that we're Christians, but we seek to grow. When we seek to grow, we will have testimonies. And testimony is not just like, I needed a house and God blessed me. I needed this loan and God blessed me. I needed this car and God gave it to me. I prayed for this job. No. A part of this testimony or testimonies should be, I struggled with hate. I struggled with envy. And God helped me. God delivered me. I've grown over that. And now I can help others. I'm no longer envious. I'm no longer covetous. I'm no longer hateful. I used to love cuss people out. I mean, that should be a part of our testimony, because as Christians, we need to develop our characters. We need to develop our characters so we can get along with people in our homes, so our marriages will last longer. We need to develop our characters so we can be better parents, so we can talk to our children and discipline them without cussing them and labeling them and, causing them to lose self-esteem. We must build our character so that when we have conflict on the job, we can resolve them in a proper way and still hold our jobs, as opposed to getting so angry we walk off these jobs. And that is why we're losing in areas and not winning, because we think it's just enough to go to church, clap, sing, dance around the church, but we're not developing our character. We're not growing. And a lot of the battles that we're losing, it's because of how we handle ourselves, how we handle situations. And part of that too is that we do not take responsibility. We do not own our wrongs. So if we can look in ourselves and say, I didn't respond correctly, I was wrong, then the next time we can try and we will do better, but we have to first own it. And we do not like to own stuff. We're a society that likes to blame everybody and everything except ourselves. And that's where society is today. Everybody is wrong. The government is wrong. The pastor is wrong. My boss was wrong. Or my children were wrong. My husband was wrong. And it's coming from a long time. Let me remind you, back in the Garden of Eden, as opposed to taking responsibility, Adam looked at God and said, "It's the woman you gave me." So as mankind, we're always shirking our responsibility. We must own our wrongs. We must. It's a part of growing. I did not speak to the person properly. I did not handle this well. I could have still had my job had I not walked off because I got too upset. I should have, stand my ground, stay there, even though I'm angry, learn to control myself and speak, to them properly. Another thing you can do is learn not to just speak when we're angry. If you're given the time, take a minute. I'll not handle that today. I'll not discuss that today because right now I am too angry to have a proper discussion about it. My judgment my judgment will not be right at this point to deal with it, because I'm definitely going to say things that I should not. So let me give it a day or two, let me sleep on it a little, and then I'll have a discussion with you about it. Another thing, never hit your children when you're angry. Do not deal with them, do not try to discipline them or correct them in the heat of your spirit. And that is how often, we have people abusing kids, because give it time. I'll deal with this tomorrow. Discipline you, stay in the corner. You're grounded. You can't go see your friends. No, you're not going to the movies this weekend. Find ways like that to discipline, your kids. Some people tend to get physical, and a lot of time you have parents who already cannot handle their emotions. They're already just too angry. And the Bible does say that anger rests in the bosom of fools. They're already too angry, and then now you're hitting a child in the heat of your spirit. What happened? You abuse a child, you end up in jail, and you blame the child. Yes, the child was wrong, but you could have dealt with it a different way. So, these are ways we need to try to grow. Yes, I did not like the way my boss speak to me. My boss was wrong, but I could have dealt with it a different way. And when we start owning stuff and taking responsibility, we'll be surprised to see how we grow. And I can tell anybody that, because I know when I was much younger, I know God worked with people. I know God changed people, and that's personally my testimony. I wasn't the type that always liked people. Now people say, Sister Caron love people, Sister Caron this, that. That is just all the glory of God. I remember growing up, people were like, my parents are pastors, and growing up, I remember as a teenager in the church, and people would say, Pastor, kids are nice, but the big one, she don't talk to people. I didn't like people. I didn't like people. I didn't trust people. I didn't like people. I didn't want people to get on my nerves, or I was going to tell you my mind. And when it was time for me to really grow up in ministry, and the young people, they were always drawn to me. And when I became the vice president of the youth department, I was struggling with really, really liking people, didn't trust people, and I told God who I wanted to like. Okay, God, I like the children, I like the young people, but I'm not doing the adults. My God, we have issues. Yes, I'm just not, and I'm serious. I really had a big problem. And ever so often I was in a meeting, because I've always been a hard worker when it comes to ministry. I love the work of the Lord, and I will work my head off, but then I had challenge with people. And ever so often, my parents would get a complaint, and Caron would be in a meeting. Caron had to be in a meeting because of the way she responded. And my dad always tried to help. Sometimes he was angry, and it made me angry too, because, and I was like, you're taking people's side, you're, pastor's kids. Anybody listening is a pastor's child? I guess you know the deal. Yeah, so it's like he was always like, you know what? You always have your right and lose it because of how you respond, because of how you deal with people, because you let anger rule you. You always have your right. He's like, we can never defend you in a meeting, not because you did not have your right, but because of the way you handle situation. You have to deal with that. And over and over. And I really had to, I was really challenged. I must tell you, I enjoyed working, but people challenged me, and working with different kinds of personalities. And I just never trusted people. And I always felt I should be able to tell people my mind. I really thought I had a right to just tell people my mind. If you hurt me, I must give it to you. Or if you hurt my parents, if I hear you talking about my parents, I must give it to you. And I had to grow past all of that with the grace of God and the love of God. And my father kept talking to me, and about the way I deal with situations, how I handled conflicts, and especially if I intended to go further and further in ministry, if I intended to grow, if I intended to do more, then I had to learn how to deal with conflicts and to work with people. And I was challenged, and I really, really had to learn. And of course, there are always people who don't like you for whatever the reason. It doesn't really matter, but people don't like you, and that's okay. They don't have to like you. That's their thing to deal with, not yours. Don't be bothered by it, and don't be occupied by it. Don't spend your time paying attention to people who don't like you, because you know what? If somebody doesn't like you and they make up their mind not to like you, it doesn't matter what you do. You could give them $1 million. They will just not like you. They will take that $1 million and they will go and slander you tomorrow. They'll take that $1 million and they will still hate you tomorrow. So don't be occupied. Don't occupy yourself. Don't be consumed by haters or people who don't know. No. There will always be those people. And we look at the life of Jesus Christ. He had people who didn't like him, people who called him Beelzebub, they called him name, they never believed who he was. There were times he could not do miracles with some crowd or some people because they did not believe in him. So let us not be consumed. And I grew past that attitude or that strong resentment and hate I used to feel, and just not wanting to have to deal with people at all. I grew past that, and I learned I had to, because I was very passionate about ministry, and I grew from strength to strength, and it only made me a better person, and it made ministry, better, because not that I was a bad person, but people couldn't get to know me because I locked myself. I built a wall around me because I was always trying to protect myself, because I feel that people only go out of their way to hurt you. So I lived, as a teenager, I tried to cage myself in because I'm trying to protect myself from hurt. But as soon as my father got it in my head that you cannot protect yourself from hurt, he says, Corone, I remember once he said to me, you will protect yourself from hurt from people. And guess what? Your husband will hurt you. Your children will hurt you. But in life, we will suffer hurt. And he never stopped talking. He and my mom, often they would sit with me and reprove me, and they would encourage me because they knew my strength as well. And seeing that if I did not overcome this fear I had for people in life, then I would be limiting myself in ministry. And now today people are like, oh, Sister Corone loves me. I really do. But I must tell you, that's some serious work that God did in me and in my heart to help me to understand that he is my defender. I don't need to defend myself. He is my protector. He will protect me from my enemies, and just learn to trust him. So as we look into Hannah and Peninnah's life, and we see how Peninnah, she stayed there just to provoke Hannah. She made Hannah her project. Sometimes your enemy take you on like a project. I must make her life miserable. I must hate her for as long as I live. We see Haman being like this. He says, it doesn't matter what the king gives to me or what honor he bestows on me, as long as Mordecai is alive, as long as I can see Mordecai, I'm not happy. I will enjoy none of it. And we have some strong enemies like that. It doesn't matter what's happening in their lives. They have time to take a peek in your backyard to see what's happening, because they hate you so bad and they must bring you down at all costs. Now, just want to talk about envy. Envy is a two-person situation, and just briefly looking at the difference with envy and jealousy. And if it's something that you struggle with, then it's something we must pray about. It's not something that we should ignore, because envy turns out into covetousness. And when we're envious and covetous, we tend to be spiteful. We tend to want to hurt the people we're envious against. We tend to want to hurt them either with words, with gossips, with labeling, with lying, because we're envious and covetous. Because we want to see them lose what they have. Because when we are envious, we are resentful towards people we think have an advantage over us. And they have an advantage in the sense they have a car and I don't have one. They have an advantage in the sense they have a house and I don't have one. They have an advantage in the sense they're married and I am not. They have an advantage in the sense that they're happily married and I am not. So we look at the things that's going well for them and we become resentful. I don't like them. We find that we start, sometimes people dry up with you and you don't even know why. I just noticed the person not calling me anymore, or the person is slighting me. I wonder if it's my mind. But you watch it for a few days and you realize, yeah, I'm really being slighted. Yes, they become resentful of you. All of a sudden they don't like you. Why? Because you just bought yourself a car. Because God just blessed you with a house. Yeah. So envy is a two-person situation. It's between me and my boss. It's between me and my classmate. It's between me and my friend. It's between me and my spouse. Yeah, it happens. Envy is a reaction to lacking something. It's something, and it's usually something that you probably desire for yourself, or something that you admired. Oh, I'm a singer, but she is a better singer, so I am envious. I'm in ministry, but her ministry is doing better, so I become envious. So it's always a reaction to something that we lack, and it's usually between two persons, while jealousy, on the other hand, is a three-person situation. It's a reaction, to a threat of losing something or someone. Why I say it's a three-person situation? You are married, and you are jealous of somebody seeking your spouse's attention, or of the attention that your spouse is giving to someone else. That is not something wrong, we must understand, but sometimes it becomes excessive, and that's when you have to deal with it. Everybody who loves experiences jealousy. Remember, God is jealous. He's a jealous God. The scripture says that in Zechariah 8 verse 2, he is jealous over her. So while God is jealous, he is never envious of us. So jealousy happens when there is a third party. So God is jealous of us because we're not giving him the worship, or we're not praying like we should. We're not communicating with him like we used to. And he wants to see, wait, who is taking my attention? Oh, the TV. Oh, the games. Oh, Facebook. So he is jealous because he's not getting that attention from us like he used to. And we saw him looking for Adam. Where is Adam? Adam usually come here and talk with me this time of the day. But I'm not seeing Adam anymore. Guess what? There was the serpent. So yes, that's how jealousy is. You feel jealousy when you do not want to lose someone or something, right? You have your spouse. You do not want to lose your spouse. Your children. You do not want to lose them to other people. So it's always like a third party involved in jealousy, whereas envy is like a one-on-one. It's like two persons between me and you, where I'm envious of you because you are doing better than me. You have more than I have. I have lack, you don't. I can't talk as well as you. So that makes me envious of you. We have to deal with envy. Right? It's something that we must address. It's never an emotion that we should ignore. We can be happy for people even when we do not have the things we desire. We can be happy for people when they're blessed with the things that we do not have. We can be happy for a sister when she buys herself a new car. We can rejoice with her. We can be happy with her. We can sit and remember the days she used to walk with her, and now God has blessed her with a car. And use that as an encouragement for yourself. In the same way God has blessed her, he will bless me too. So use that as a source of encouragement to yourself. Encourage yourself in the Lord. Do not let it be, that you're envious of this person to the point you become resentful, to the point you no longer call her. My God, another way we identify envy. When something good is happening to you, look at those who are silent. Look at those who are silent. When you have a good news and you're so excited and you break it and there is dead silence on the other end of the phone. We should never have to be afraid to share our good news. Never have to be afraid to share our good news, because the minute you spread this good news or share your good news, you are surprised to see the things that start coming out. Somebody knew you from 20 years ago and knew when you used to walk the street barefooted. And I never felt any better time to be telling people about those stories when you used to have to knock on the door and beg them a slice of bread. They never feel any better time to share those stories than when something good starts happening for you. We want to be careful, we want to grow, we want to build our character. If we're challenged, and you know, we are humans, we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. And I want to say to a woman listening this morning, we're challenged with different emotions. We're all challenged with different emotions at different times. But let us, whenever we realize that there's an emotion that we're experiencing that is not right, that is sinful, let us not embrace it. Let us not hold it in our bosoms, but let us pray and seek God and ask God for help over these kind of emotions. Let us chase them away from us. If we embrace them, we will only get worse and worse and worse, and we become bitter, we become envious, we become so, as we would say, bad-minded. And with all of that comes the slander. No, I have to tear this sister down or brother by all cost, because I must sink them. Why? All because they have something good going on for them. This is when you decide at all costs, you must sink this person. You know that, I hear that, you know, she's not all that. People think she's all that, but she's not, because so and so, because, I mean, you see, envy, it leads to the gossiping, the tearing down, the lies, the slander, the trying to destroy people's reputation and character. Let me tell you something, a reputation is not easy to build. A reputation is not easy to build. And there are people whose integrity means much to them. Job's integrity meant a lot to him. He walked in his integrity. There are some people who walk away from trouble and try to do right, because their integrity before God and man means a lot to them. And it's very unfortunate that out of envy, because something good happens for you, somebody decides to take up the phone and tell lies and slander you. Oh, he's not all that. He preached a good sermon this Sunday, and whoa, God used him and the church was blessed. And all of a sudden you remember that both of you used to go to school together. You know, he's not all that. I remember when he used to give his mother a lot of trouble. I remember he used to steal. I remember he saw a lie up to 3 weeks ago. Because what? Envy. Envy. You decide you want to dull somebody's light. These are emotions we must deal with. And when we deal with them, and you know, if we shine love, if we allow the love of God to just shine right through us and through our heart, these emotions, these dark emotions will disappear in the light of the love of Jesus Christ. These are dark emotions that we should not entertain. But if we just allow the love of God to just flow through our hearts, through our minds, through our body, through our spirit, then his light will will bring light in these dark areas. And we need that to happen, because today in our church there's just so much going on. Why? The root of a lot of problems we're having in the church today, the root of it is envy. Sometimes I am stunned to see the way people discriminate against each other online, on social media. And I'm talking about Christians. I'm surprised to see the slanders I read and see sometimes online. My God. And sometimes I do see even preachers slandering other preachers, talking bad about other preachers, talking bad about the office. And it really stuns me every time. Why? The root of it all is envy. So I'm just going to give some quick tips, because my time is up here. I have to go to work, have to make the money. First of all, you need to recognize that you are envious, that you're struggling with envy, resentment, you're becoming resentful, you're becoming hateful, you have excess jealousy. And I'm saying, in a husband and wife relationship, jealousy is good. If you love somebody, you do not want to lose them. You will experience that emotion from time to time, even in the best of a marriage. God is jealous over us, but he's never envious. But jealousy can become excessive, and that's what we must guard against, because we can destroy a beautiful relationship through excessive jealousy. So here are some quick tips. Recognize, first of all, that you have an issue with envy or jealousy. Ask yourself, do I trust the person? Give them the benefit of the doubt. Yes, baby. Thanks. My time is up. My baby coming to warn me. I don't want to be late for work. Yeah. Ask yourself if you trust them. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Learn to give the person the benefit of the doubt, thinking that they mean you good, right? Keep yourself busy. It's important. Keep yourself busy. Occupy yourself. Read books. Get into some extracurricular. Go and swim. Go to the gym. Do something extra. Get involved in church. There are many departments in your church that need help. As opposed to sit and gossip that, the department not running well, the church not running well, get involved. The church needs you. Keep yourself busy. Improve your self-esteem. Work on your self-esteem. Why is it that you feel this bad about yourself? Maybe I don't like the way I look, I'm too slim. Maybe I don't like the way I look, I'm too fat. Maybe I don't like the way I talk, I need to improve the way I talk. Read more. Reading will help you with talking. Read more. So whatever deficiencies you have or things that you lack or areas that you think is causing your self-esteem to be lowered, work on it, improve it. If it's your appearance, improve it. Find ways to improve. If you have a close friend, even in the way you dress yourself, a close friend can kindly help you to put yourself better together. Because sometimes people do not like the shape of their bodies, but you can find the style or the right fit that will be very flattering on you. Find the right fit. Years ago, I struggled to find the right fit. When I was growing up as a teenager, you struggle. You're trying to find the identity. I didn't find the right fit until I, was in my early 20s. Then I learned what kind of, cut fits me. And I tried to stick with that. And of course, when you start, finding the right fit, the right colors, and a close friend can help you with that, then, you will start building your self-esteem. And esteem is not just about our appearance. As I said, it's about different things. Maybe I don't know what my gift is or my talent is. I think I'm not good at anything. I don't have a skill. Then you can go back to school, learn a skill. There are ways you can improve yourself to improve your self-esteem. Communicate properly. Even in improving yourself, maybe you're jealous of the person because you think they're better than you and they do this and they do that. You can go to them. I really like the fact that you're improving yourself. I really love that. And I like the course that you just did. I'd like to learn it too. Do you mind sharing the information? Because I don't mind going back to school. Don't go back to school just so you can say, she have a degree, I have one too. She just did cake baking, I did it too. That's not the reason. It must be a genuine and clean and pure reason that you really just want to build yourself. Not that you're trying to compete with somebody else. Because the competition will never end well. Because that passion is not a genuine one. Do not compare yourself with others. And I think that may have been covered lightly. But don't compare yourself with... Some people sit and all they do is compare themselves with others. They compare their marriage with somebody else's marriage. They compare their children with somebody else's children. They compare their paycheck with somebody else's paycheck. Their job with somebody else's job. Their house, their car, everything you have boils down to a big competition. Stop comparing yourself with others. Stop competing. Just be happy in your moment. Be happy with yourself. Be happy with your life. Live your life and enjoy your life. Put the blinders on so you don't have to see there or there or there if you have a problem with the things that you see. The Bible says it's better to go to heaven without an eye or without both eyes than to go to hell with both your eyes, basically. So if the things you see giving you trouble, put a blinders on and focus on your life. Sometimes you see things because you always have people on the phone calling you, telling you what so-and-so doing or what so-and-so have. Cut those friends off who only calls you to gossip about others. Do not play games. Do not try to make them jealous. Okay, because I feel jealous over them, I'm going to do something. And this happens in relationship. I'm going to do something to make them feel jealous. He's on the phone, I'm not sure who he's talking to, so I go on the phone and let him think I'm talking to somebody, trying to make it. Those games are not healthy. It doesn't work well for a relationship. You're only going to damage your relationship because you're going to cause things to get worse. Don't let your imagination overpower you. Sometimes your mind tells you, people don't like me, they hate me, they didn't like the way I minister, I didn't do well. And your mind flood you with all these negative thoughts. I'm not as good as him. I'm not as good as her. And you are bombarded with negative thoughts over and over. And with a jealous spouse or partner, sometimes people's imagination run wild. They're always thinking he's doing something wrong or she's doing something wrong. Or they're talking to this person or they're talking to that person. Or they've gone somewhere else other than what they told me. Don't allow your imagination to overpower you. think the best, wish the best, hope the best, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And don't get swept up in the online world. Don't be stalking people on social media. And a lot of people tend to be consumed with social media. Have to look at what they're wearing, where they're going, what they're posting, look at their children, look at their car, look at the house. All of this, I have to get every bit of information about their life. And some people even stalk their spouses on social media. Let me see whose post they like. Let me see who they're talking to on social media. Why would you want to do that to yourself anyways? When you can be just enjoying your life, why would you want to do that to yourself? So do not use social media as a place to just stalk people and fill your heart with envy, resentment, jealousy, hate, bitterness. No, there is good use for social media. Sharing with others. Sharing the word of God, spreading love with others, finding friendships that you've not had, since high school. So, getting the word out about your business, getting the word out about your ministry. There are really good uses for social media. And let's use them for the good reasons and not to stalk people, not to feed our envy, not to feed strife, not to tear others down. Let's not use it as a place to gossip. Let's not use it as a place to feed our jealousy and our bitterness and to defame others' character or their reputation. But let's use it for the right reason. Don't get swept in the online world, because that in and of itself can be a very dark world. So I hope I've said enough to you to encourage you today if you struggle with envy, hatred, resentment, bitterness. If you struggle, admit it. Admit it to God, admit it to yourself, and work on it. And these are ways that you can build your character. You can build yourself. And in building your character, you will also build your self-esteem. Have a wonderful day today. And remember, you are indeed a woman of excellence. That's what we're striving together for. God bless you.